Ever since he jumped from high school to Hollywood at age 18, everyone has expected the world from Kobe Bryant. He's been made the poster child of both the NBA and Madison Avenue, and his appeal is international in scope. But now, at age 21, Kobe is in his fourth NBA season, playing under superstar coach Phil Jackson. And the question is whether Kobe's finally ready to live up to all that hype. Some have even anointed him the next Michael Jordan, which wouldn't have meant a thing to Kobe just a few short years ago growing up in Rieti, Italy.
I never heard of Mike Jordan because, you know, the NBA wasn't as global as it is now. So my cousin would call me. And they would say, hey, man, you got to check out this new kid, man. New kid? New kid. Like, I come back and I'm like, this guy's for real.
The Italians may not have known who Jordan was, but they practically worshipped a man named Jelly Bean. Joe Jelly Bean Bryant, Kobe's dad, played in the NBA for 8 years, primarily for the Philadelphia 76ers. There he forged a flashy style of his own before taking his show and his family on the road to Italy.
We've always been a tight-knit family, and moving over to Italy, we didn't have a choice but to get even closer. I was 6, my sister was 7, my older sister was 8. We just kind of hopped in the flow of things.
Watching your father play ball over in Italy, what was that experience like? How did it influence you?
I wanted to have the same type of feeling that he had. And I didn't know what that feeling was. I mean, I had people cheering your name and asking you for autographs all the time. I was kind of curious to see what that feeling would feel like. I wanted to experience that same type of emotion, and I wanted to be better than my father.
What, your first remembrance of when you felt that this was going to be your game?
First remembrance, I would say I was actually 8 years old, actually. Okay. I remember I was playing in the league in Florence. I was playing on the junior team. I managed to score 61 points.
Whoa, hold on.
Yep.
8 years old and you scored how many points, Kobe?
61. Because my uncle always told me, my father always told me, he said, you know, you can put points on the board, all you got to do is shoot it. You know, and then, when you're a kid, you don't really think about that as being so difficult. It just all makes sense. You know what I mean? Then I had to take on a big dog, my father. And he used to kick my butt.
All the time?
All the time.
At what point did you get him?
I was 14.
No kidding. What was the feeling like then?
I wanted to keep doing it.
And his feeling?
He didn't want me to keep doing it, so he never played me again.
No kidding. Y'all stopped after that?
I haven't played my father since.
After 8 years in Europe, Jelly Bean decided it was time to bring the family back to Philadelphia and get Kobe back to the competition he was missing out on in Italy. Kobe took Lower Merion High School by storm, leading the basketball team to their first state championship and being named to the McDonald's All-America team in 1996. Did I understand it correctly that at some point you told some of your friends, hey, get my autograph now because it will be worth something?
Absolutely. What I would say to them was, here you go. Take this autograph, frame it if you want to, but it's going to be worth some money down the road.
Have you talked to any of the folks who have it now to say, I told you so?
No, I haven't. Okay. I haven't. I just let them figure that out for themselves.
When did you know in your own mind that you could be one of the few in the history of the game who could make the leap successfully from high school to the pros?
When I was 13.
Kobe, no, 13?
Absolutely.
And just 5 years later...
No, I had decided to skip college and take my talent to the NBA.
In 1996, at age 18, Kobe Bryant was drafted by the Charlotte Hornets, but was traded straight to the high-profile LA Lakers.
We took an enormous risk by trading our starting center, Vlade Divac, who's a very, very good player for a high school kid.
Jerry West, Lakers VP, was responsible for bringing Kobe to Los Angeles.
I think when we did it, there were a lot of... Internally, a lot of people thought that we were probably pretty crazy.
Especially when Kobe broke his wrist in a pickup game the day after he signed with the Lakers. And things didn't gel quite as quickly as planned. There was friction between the team and its coaches. First Del Harris, then Kurt Rambis. But what everyone focused on was the so-called Cold War between the new superpowers, Kobe and Shaq, which culminated last year on the court in preseason when O'Neal scuffled with Bryant after a rough play. Shaq, set the record straight. Is there a coolness between you guys, or is there a closeness?
No, Kobe is a young guy, but he doesn't really hang out that much. It wasn't really a Cold War. Like I said, I'm the bigger brother of the team, and you know, when I see people make mistakes, I'm gonna get on them.
I mean, we've had moments where we had arguments, and I think that's natural. I mean, if you're playing with somebody for, 3 years now, 82 games, in the city of Los Angeles. I mean, you're gonna have some arguments or whatever. And what counts is I go to war for him, he goes to war for me, and that's all that matters.
He still tries to do too much at times, you know, which is okay sometimes, you know, sometimes it's not. I think he needs to just let the game come to him. You know, he's so competitive and so aggressive that he just tries to, you know, do it all when he really doesn't have to do it all.
The mantelpiece of this team is not Kobe Bryant, it's Shaquille O'Neal. And Kobe Bryant is going to have to learn how to use him. And once he learns how to use him, oh boy, you have two incredible players on one team. Is something really special.
Many a time you still weren't finding the open man. Fair criticism now or not?
Fair.
Fair?
Oh, completely fair. Completely fair.
Huh, are you getting better at it?
Oh, sure. It was kind of frustrating because I'm playing in LA, because your game is constantly under a microscope. They expect you to hit the open man all the time. When people don't understand, I'm very, very competitive. So if you say, okay, we're gonna put two guys on you to stop you, so two guys ain't gonna stop me.
Kobe's greatest strengths are also his greatest weaknesses.
Lakers head coach Phil Jackson commanded immediate respect from all the players and transformed a group of talented individuals into a talented team.
Kobe likes to hit a home run every play, and sometimes you got to take a bunt and sacrifice to make the team win. His ability to beat people one-on-one or his ability to try and take over a game can either be something that works successfully for him or something that the defense can key off of.
Did you comment that there are some Michael Jordan-like qualities about Kobe, and what did you mean? And is that a burden or incentive to even be compared to MJ?
Well, I think for a young man at that age, it's kind of a burden, you know, because you're trying to reach something that may not be attainable. And I want him to remember he's Kobe, and Kobe's going to be who he is. He's not a Michael Jordan. There's only one Michael Jordan. There's only one Kobe Bryant.
Phil's influence on me has been to really pick the game apart and to really dissect the game and study my teammates and kind of let them feed off the flow of the game or try to make the flow of the game go towards them. And Phil's been very instrumental in my growth process as far as understanding that.
You know, in essence, he's getting his college education right now at Phil Jackson U, both on the court and off the court.
I hope you're right.
And much of Kobe's extracurricular time these days is spent in the recording studio, where he just finished his debut album entitled Visions.
How long have you had the itch to express yourself musically?
I would say it probably started in 9th grade. Had an English teacher who used to make us write poetry and read poetry. At the time, I really didn't pay much attention to it.
Right.
I mean, but I like doing it.
And if you were to say what you want folk to get out of this, listening to this, it would be?
Don't be afraid to grow. It's okay to be yourself. And you shouldn't worry about people criticizing or trying to please everybody.
And while the old rivalry between Kobe and Shaq seems to have settled down, a new one is brewing.
When I was talking to Shaq, I said, now, can he rap as well as you?
Of course not.
Shaq knows he cannot rap.
Honestly?
Nah.
He wouldn't want to go one-on-one with you on the rap?
No. That's Tyra right there.
Of course, it doesn't hurt that Tyra Banks sings a track on his album.
What's the deal with Tyra Banks?
Tyra
Tell
Banks.
me the real deal.
My name fame, drop top, Benz with a wooden dash.
What's the deal?
Tyra's cool.
Okay.
Tyra's a good person. I've known Tyra since I was 17, since I first came out here. And she's a very, very, very sweet young lady.
And you know the tabloids has got a whole lot more being made of that.
So, don't care.
With that kind of confidence, Kobe has stepped out on his own. While he had been living for the last 4 years with his mother, father, and sister in a home he bought overlooking the ocean, Kobe now has the place to himself and recently bought them a house down the road.
You know, everybody has their own space now. We're grown up. My mother knows that, my father knows that, even though it was hard to accept. You know, my home is my home. You know, I'm living on my own, I'm living by myself, and my parents respect that, and they know that. But at the same time, on Sundays, we come over to my house, and you know, we'll have my mother throw down. I bring my sisters over, my little niece, and we'll enjoy ourselves that way.
And pretty soon the home is going to have a recording studio?
Yep, and a basketball court, and a weight room, and I'll never leave the house.
Kobe's World on the hill?
Oh, absolutely. I'll never come off that hill. That's all I need.